Okay, so week 3. So we have 2 more subtopics still in the status. So remember, just to review ourselves, 3 kinds of words: ism, fail, and harf. We are doing ism. Every ism has 4 properties. We are doing the first property, status. Okay, in the status, we have established how to find the status by looking at a word. Okay, either it is a sound, un, an, in, or it is a combination, and we have 8 combinations so far. Okay, that if it is ani, aini, then it is masculine dual. If it is una, ina, that is masculine plural. If it is tani, tiny, is feminine dual. If it is atun, atin, then is feminine plural. Okay, this is what we know so far. Okay, and we did the exercise. So now in the same way, now we said that we have 4 versions of the chart, so we have 2 more versions to come. Okay, so around 2 more versions to come, and that's why we're going to talk about a subtopic under status, which is called light versus heavy. Okay, light versus heavy. By default, isms are heavy. What is heavy means? Meaning that they have a noon sound at the end. If you were to recite the Muslim chart, you would notice that every word ends with a noon sound. There are 2 types of heavy. Okay, heavy due to sound and heavy due to combination. Okay, ending. So that's what we learned so far. Nothing new in this slide. Okay, those words, only new thing, those words called heavy word. Okay, there's the Arabic term for the heavy. Don't worry about it now, right now. Okay, just think heavy. So if a word has tanween, meaning double fatha, double kasra, double dhamma, like Muslimun, Muslimatun, Muslimatin, Muslimin, Muslima, or anything, kulubun, all that is tabarakatin. Okay, anything has a double fatha, double kasra, double dhamma, then it is a heavy word. And this is the default of Arabic. Okay, default. So by default, they are heavy. Okay, or if a word has our 8 combination, like we learned, right? Ani, aini. Okay, like jannataini, the word that we just did. Okay, so it is also a heavy word. Why heavy word? Because it has a combination with a noon. Combination with the noon. Okay, you can see ending with the noon sound. Okay, like sound. Okay, tani, taini, una, ina. Every time you have a noon in the thing. So if it is word like this from our chart, then they are heavy word. They are heavy word. Okay, so now obviously we say light versus heavy. So what are the light version? When you take the noon sound out, they are called the light version. Okay, so in some special cases, we can make an ism light, meaning we remove the noon sound. So it says in some special cases. Okay, and later in the slide, I will tell you that there are 4 cases, 4 times, or 4 ways. Okay, there are 4 reasons for an ism to go from heavy to light. Okay, we don't want to know these 4 reasons today. Only we know that how many reasons a ism become light. 4 reasons. Okay, that's your quiz question. Okay, so if I ask you how many times or how many cases are there that how many reasons are there that ism become from heavy to light, because by default they are heavy. Okay, there are reasons to be ism to be light. Without any reason, the ism doesn't get light. Okay, and light means what? Light means that you take the noon sound out. So how do you take the noon sound out? You either make the double kasra, double fatha, double dhamma to single one. So instead of saying muslimun, you say muslimu. If you're saying musliman, say muslima. If you're saying muslimin, you say muslimi. Okay, just take one out. That's one way. And also from the combination, just remove the noon. So if you say muslimuna, so just take the noon letter out. It's muslimu. Okay, muslimu. Okay, now that will create a confusion in sound. Why? Because it was muslimun for singular. Okay, and we'll see the chart soon, inshallah. Muslimun for singular, and I am saying take one dhamma out of it. So it will be muslimu. And muslimuna, with the ending 2 letters was the combination of wa and noon. So you keep the wa. You still keep the wa. You have to take the noon out. So it will be muslimu. Muslimus is a bit a long mu because of the wa. Okay. So again, the brother Sarah has asked the question before, right? How are you going to know? Okay, because by hearing it. Hearing needs more practice, brother. But you will know when you know the Quran more. Okay, because we're only dealing with the Quran. Nothing new is coming every day, inshallah. So it's the Quran itself. But by looking at the word, you will see, oh, the wa is still there. Okay, so we'll look at the charts and a lot of examples today. Okay, so we have to be careful which kind of noon we remove. We can only remove noon if it comes from an ending tanwin sound, which I just told you, right? Or from an ending combination ani, aini, and una. In the word Qur'anan, remember I mentioned this in the last week also. The word Qur'anan, the noon at the end is part of the word, it's a part of the spelling. Like Sulaiman, that noon is not from the combination noon. It's a spelling word, right? It's a spelling thing, okay? So, so we can't remove it. So we can't just say Qur'an and this light. No, Qur'anan is the word. If I give it, if I have to give this word in the exercise, and if I had asked you, is this word a combination or ending sound? You should have answered what? Ending sound, because there's no combination here. Okay. So if it's the ending sound, then you just take one fatha out. Okay, one fatha out. Number C, one important thing to remember, if a word has al on it, okay, if a word has al on it, like al muslimuna, it is neither heavy nor light. So this is a very, very important thing to remember, okay? And we're going to talk about al. Al is a harf. Al in Arabic means da. So this is, you can see, you can say that this is our first encounter with a harf. Al, and this is a very, very commonly used word, like harf in the Quran. Lot of words has al in it, right? Okay, so if the word has a al, and if I ask you, is this word heavy or light? Your answer should be, it does not matter. It's irrelevant. Okay, because when a word has al, it's neither heavy nor light. Okay, and it has implication which we're going to learn as we go through. Okay, but for today, you remember the any word with an al at the beginning, and al always come at the beginning. Al always come at the beginning of the word. Okay, beginning of an ism. Okay, and al is a harf that always comes with ism. And it is very important to remember. You can take a note. It's not in the slide, but you can take a note, and we'll talk about it later. It will come in a different lessons. Any word that has al is an ism. That's a good giveaway. Okay. Fail can never have al. I'll repeat again. Fail can never have al. Okay. So anything that is with al is an ism. That's a quick way to know. Suppose if you don't know any vocabulary of the Quran, you just reading the Quran, you know how to read the Quran. If you say, ulaika humul muflihun. So ulaika hum al muflihun. If you say al muflihun, you probably don't know the meaning of al, whether it is ism or a fail or harf, but you say, oh, al is there. So that's definitely ism, because al can only come before ism. And when al is added, okay, the question of heavy and light become irrelevant. Okay, so I will have a quiz, okay, inshallah, next week, and I'll ask you, if there is a word has al in it, is it heavy or light? Your answer should be no, neither of this. It's not heavy, it's not light. Okay, note that the status doesn't change if an ism is light or heavy. For example, muslimuna is rafa, plural and masculine. The light version muslimu, see, from muslimuna we take the noon out, will also be rafa, plural and masculine. So status doesn't change. Okay, now one more thing about al, which we're going to come to the next slide, that we have to remember. So what we know about al is a harf. Okay, and when it's added to an ism, okay, that ism is neither light nor heavy. Okay, this is the chart. So this was our real chart. I just cross out the noon part, so to show you that this is how it become light. Okay, so we had muslimun first. See the noon, I cut it out. Okay, muslimani, it's muslima. Okay, the two alif. Why two a here? Because it's alif. Alif is a long, right? So muslima. Okay, and the muslimai. Muslimuna become muslimu. Noon, I took it out just to make you, give you a good understanding that with the English one, and we'll have the Arabic in the next slide. Okay, note the discussion of heavy and light becomes irrelevant when the word has an al on it, which I already told you, right? This is because the tanween and al never come together. Oh, what does it mean? It means the tanween, double fatha, double kasra, double dhamma, they can never have al. So whenever you have a word with an al, okay, number one is an ism, and also it can never have a double kasra, double fatha, double dhamma, meaning it can never have tanween. You can't say al muslimun, you cannot say that. That is wrong to say that. Okay, it can say that. But if the word is a combination word like muslimuna or jannataini, you can say al jannataini, no problem. Okay, because al jannataini is not an in sound, it's a combination. So combination can have al. Okay, combination can have al, no problem in that. Okay, and but the singular one which has the un and in sound, okay, those one cannot have al. al and tanween, they are enemy of each other. They can't sit beside each other. Okay, so if the al comes, it must have singular fatha or singular dhamma or singular one kasra, one dhamma, one fatha. Okay, but the combination is
Bhai,
fine.
just a
Yes,
quick question.
yes.
So can we say when we have tanwin,
Mhm.
the word is indefinite, and when it is al, it is definite? Can we say this?
Yes, yes. That is definite and indefinite will come in our type
Okay,
discussion,
okay,
inshallah ta'ala. Okay.
okay.
Yes, we can say that. Yeah. Of course, because al means da. And al has only one meaning. Okay. Da. Th da. And in English, if we say anything with the da, they are definite. So that's what the brother is saying, but we'll have a separate lesson for that. Yeah. And we'll talk more about al, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. There are different kinds of al also in Arabic. Okay. In general, three kinds, but we'll talk about it, inshallah. Okay, so for the time being, as I'm saying, al and tanwin can. So if I give you a quiz, like if I say al, muslimatun, it's a tamarbuta. I say, is this word, heavy or light? You say no. And if I say al is right, no, that's also not right, because you can't have a word starting with al and ending with a tanwin. You can have that. Okay, combination is still fine. Okay, that's what he's saying here. For example, the al-muslimun is incorrect. You can only say al-muslimu, the words that end in noon. On the other hand, which is a combination, keep their noon even when there is a al on it. The word al-muslimuna, see here, the last line, the al-muslimuna is correct. There is no need to drop the noon. Okay, turn off the noon. So let's go to and it says that there are commonly 4 reasons for an ism to be light. Okay, and we don't know the reasons yet. We just know how many reasons, 4 reasons. Okay, and as I said, we'll know the reasons as we go along, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so this is in a slide to show you that all the charts. So this on the right hand side, left hand side, we have the heavy one. So now this is another version of the chart. Okay, so another 2 version of the chart. Okay, so Muslimun, here it become Muslimu. It was Muslimani, the noon is gone. It was Muslimaini, it is Muslimai now. It was Muslimuna, it's Muslimu now. It was Muslimina, it's just Muslimi now. Look at this word, look closely, and you will see that all the noons or get dropped out, and all the tanwin become singular. So Muslimatun become Muslimatu, Muslimata, Muslimati, Muslimata, Muslimatai, Muslimatai, Muslimatu, Muslimati, Muslimati. So the big one on the right hand side is our light chart of the masculine version. This is light chart for the feminine version, and these are the heavy ones that we did in the last week. Okay, so this was one of our subtopic of status, light and heavy. There's another one. So inshallah, I will start that topic today. Okay, and then we'll do some quick exercise. I'll do some exercise with us, so not like not the Google form, and then we're gonna review the whole thing, because these 2 subtopic, light and heavy, and the one that's next coming up. Okay, sometimes it's a bit confusing for the brothers and sisters. So I always, the week 3 lesson and week 4 lessons, kind of same thing reviewing, because most of the brothers and sisters need some more time in that. Okay, so next topic is also, we are in status, we're still doing the status. Okay, it's called flexibility. Okay, now flexibility is not one of the 4 properties of the ism, rather it is a subtopic under status. We know that. Okay, this topic, just like light and heavy, deals with different forms of the status markers can take. So what they're saying that just now we saw light and heavy, and light and heavy changed our chart. So we had 2 charts in our head. Now we have 4 charts. Those 2 charts were the heavy charts for masculine and feminine. Now we have 2 more extra charts with the same thing, minus the noon sound, So that's all light. Just like that, flexibility also has something to do with the sound status. Okay, and we'll look into this issue very closely, because this is also a very, very important topic, because a lot of words, a lot of ism comes under this subtopic of flexibility. Okay, so what is flexibility means? Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so this is just to show you that we are still doing status, and in the status we have 2 subtopic, light and heavy, and flexibility. Now flexibility could be of 3 things, could be of 3 types. Okay, fully flexible, partly flexible, and non-flexible. Okay, so this discussion on flexibility only pertains to words that have ending sound. Okay, so what we are saying here, the flexibility is something doesn't work with combinations, which makes our things easier, right? So we have dual column and plural column. So flexibility doesn't work on those one. Okay, it works only on the singular. Okay, the word that have ending sound. Okay, so you don't need to have like a flexibility for una, in, and everything. Okay, but there are three kinds of flexibility: fully flexible, partly flexible, and non-flexible. Okay, and these are the Arabic terms. Don't worry about it now. Right now, there are three forms of flexibility: fully flexible, partly flexible, non. So what does this mean? Fully flexible words are the words, these are regular Arabic words. They take tanween and kasra normally, meaning any word that you learn normally, mean in your chart, the first column, Muslimun, see here, Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, all these words, they can take fatha, kasra, and dhamma, okay? They are normal words, and that is the default of words, Arabic words, okay? Just like we say the default light and heavy status is heavy. There are 4 reasons that words become light. Just like that, normally all words are fully flexible, okay? But now we need to know there are some words they're partly flexible and some words are non-flexible. Why use the word flexible? Because flexible means what? We can change, they can flex, so un become an when it's nasab, an become in when it is jar. So they can have all three form, they're flexible, okay? So if it is rafa, their own version. Okay, if it is nasab, they can take the an sound. If it is jar, they can send the in sound. If it is light, hey, light, but it is rafa, then it's u sound or a sound or a e sound. So same word when they're rafa, when they're nasab, when they're jar, they are taking different sound at the end. So they are flexible. That's why they are called flexible. These are normal words. Okay. Now, obviously, we have 2 more kinds. Okay. One is called partly flexible. Partly flexible words have special rules that only apply to them. There are 2 categories of partly flexible words: name of places, okay, and non-Arab names. Okay, so these are the 2 kinds of words in the Quran that are partly flexible. Okay, partly flexible. So name of places and non-Arab names. There are a few more actually, but those are kind of a bit exceptions. So let's learn the general first, then we'll come to those when the time comes, inshallah. So any names like Makkah is a name of a place. Dallas, London. Obviously, in the Quran, there's no Dallas in London, but I'm just saying, okay, Makkah is in the Quran, okay. So these kind of words, they are partly flexible, okay. Non-Arab names, okay, the names, they do not come from an Arabic language. Like for example, Arthur, Suleiman is not an Arabic name, okay. Ibrahim is not an Arabic name, and I will talk about the names of the Prophet and the names in the Quran very soon, okay. So these are the names. So the names of places, non-Arab names, like my nickname is Ronnie, okay. So it's not an Arabic name, obviously. So this is, if we want to write Ronnie in Arabic, it should be a partly flexible word, because it is just like Arthur or something like that, okay. But Muhammad is an Arabic name. So Muhammad, if when I say Arabic name, it's fully flexible, okay. So that means it could be Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. When it is Muhammadun, when is the doer, it's the rafa. When it's Muhammadan, it is nasab. Because Muhammadin, then it is jar, okay. So this is an Arabic fully flexible word, okay. So partly flexible words can be categorized in 2 ways: name of places and non-Arab names, okay. So let's look what partly flexible special qualities. There are 2 things partly flexible words can never do. They can never have tanween. So another way to saying that, they are always light. And remember, just now I said like there are 4 reasons to be word to be a light. That partly flexible is one of the reasons. So if a word, if you know that this is partly flexible, okay. Now the next question, I know you're gonna ask, how are you going to know? We'll know. I'll tell you, okay. So if a word is a partly flexible, they can never have tanween. So no double fatha, no double dhamma, no double kasra. They are always light. Remember the meaning of light. Okay, so we're just saying here, okay. They can never have kasra also. So even the single kasra they cannot have. They will always end with either fatha or dhamma. Because of these rules, partly flexible ism, that a rafa will have the u sound, while it is nasab and jar both take the a sound. Okay. Again, remember, brothers and sisters, flexibility, we're talking about only the singular column. We're not talking about the combination. Combination is kind of, they don't come into the flexibility discussion. It's the sound, un sound, an sound, and in sound. What we are saying here, if the word is partly flexible, okay, and we know the names of places like Makkah and the names of non-Arab names, okay, and there's a lot of non-Arab names, we're going to talk about that now, okay, they cannot have tanween, they're always light. they cannot also have kasra. Even the single kasra they cannot have. So that means if they are nasab, they have a sound. If they are rafa, they have a u sound. When they are jar, they are supposed to have e sound, but they cannot take e, so they will take, like nasab and jar both will take the fatha. For example, the word Ibrahim is in the slide. Ibrahim is a non-Arab name. Okay, so a lot of people, it could be for the first time that you understand. A lot of us, we name our children with the Prophet's name, which is a good way to name, and that is a sunnah actually. The Sahaba used to name their children with Prophet's name, like and the names like Maryam and everything. But a lot of names, because they are previous prophets, their origin is not Arab. Okay, yes, they are in the Quran, but they are not Arabic names. Okay, so Ibrahim is one of them. Okay, so the word is in Arabic, it's in the Quran, but the name is not originated from Arabic language. So that's why Ibrahim is a partly flexible word. So when Ibrahim is Rafa, so when Ibrahim is doing something in a word, or by default, it is Ibrahimu. Okay, it is Ibrahimu. Okay, and it can never be Ibrahimun like Muhammadun. It can never have tanween because it's partly flexible. You will never find Ibrahim in the Quran, or Sulaiman in the Quran, or Dawood in the Quran with fatha, kasra, or dhamma, that is tanween. Okay, that's number one. Number two, even when Ibrahim is jar, it has the a sound, not the e sound. Nasab and jar both has a sound. So don't think about the Prophet Ibrahim. If I say the book of Ibrahim, for example, the book of Ibrahim. So book of Ibrahim. So the word Ibrahim, okay, is jar here because it comes after the of. Okay, so if I ask you, should it be Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, or Ibrahimi? You say, no, there's nothing called Ibrahimi. It must be Ibrahima, because Ibrahim can never have a kasra because it's partly flexible. Okay, so partly flexible words are two categories: names of places, and there's not too many names of places in the Quran, to be honest. Okay, there is Makkah there, Medina. Medina in the Quran, it is not the place. Please remember that. Okay, I have answered these questions, and brothers and sisters got confused in the last year batch at least 5 times. Okay, minimum 5 times. Okay, Medina, we call it Medina a place, but Medina means city. Okay, city, like in Sydney we say we're going to city today. My office is in the city. The word city in English, the Arabic word is Medina. Yes, now everybody understand Medina means the Medina that we go for Hajj, and then the place of Prophet Muhammad. Okay, but the real word Medina means it's a city. So Medina is a normal word. It's not a name of a place. Okay, and actually it's a feminine word, Medina tu. Okay, so Medina tun, Medina tan, Medina tin. It could be heavy normal word. Okay, like Muslimatun, right? Makkah is a place. In the Quran, there's another name for Medina, Yathrib. Okay, that was the previous name of it. So that is another place in the Quran. Okay, so these two places is like a name of places. As far as name. There's another one. I will come to that soon, but that is non-flexible. Okay, and then there's other ones. A lot of prophets' name are partly flexible, and let's talk about the prophets' name now. So in the Quran, how many prophets' names are there? Who can tell me? Anyone knows how many prophets' names are in the Quran? How many names?
25.
Like
25.
Okay, 25. Yes, that's good. Mm, is there any other prophet other than 25 that you know of? Do you know a 26? Number 26?
Khidir alayhi salam. Khidir.
No, there's a confusion on that, and a
Is
majority
it
of
Lut alayhi salam?
No, Lut is under 25. There's another prophet actually. It came in the Sunnah. Okay, so we found a hadith about him. Just a little information. His name in English is called Daniel. Okay, and I don't know if you know the hadith. Actually, Umar radiallahu anhu, in his time, some of the Sahaba went for an expedition, and they were digging somewhere for water or something. They found a leg of a body. Okay, and it was intact. Okay, and then they came to Khalifa of that time, Umar, and they said to Umar, we found a part of a body. We can look like it's a grave. Okay, and looks like someone is there, but the body is completely intact. And Umar say that yes, it could be the name of a prophet, and it mentioned that it is actually named Daniel, in English called Daniel, or Daniel in Arabic. Okay, but that is from the Sunnah. But yes, in Quran we have 25 prophets name. Okay, and Khidr, as another brother mentioned, is a lot of group of Islam, a lot of scholars of the past of the tafsir, they said he could be a prophet, and there are other opinions also about that he is not a prophet. He was a chosen man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Luqman. Okay, Luqman was not a prophet, right? Luqman was a wise man. Okay, and Allah mentioned him in the Quran because he's important. You know, his advice to his son, and about the Khidr also have difference of opinion. But without the Khidr and Luqman, there are 25 prophets. Out of 25 prophets, there are only 4 Arab prophets, meaning their original name is from the Arab prophets. And these are the 4 prophets, Arab prophets: Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Shuaib, Saleh, and Hud. So these are the 4 prophets. Okay, sorry, we already passed time, but I'm going to quickly go through. So I'm going to come back to this lesson next week, inshallah. Okay, and then we'll do some exercise. Okay, so Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Shuaib, Saleh, and Hud. So these are Arab prophets. So their names, Muhammadun, Shuaibun, Salihun, Hudun, are normal. So they can take an, and in. So when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the word is used as a rafa, is un. When it is nasab, is an. When it is jar, it is in. Just like Shuaib and Saleh and Hud. All other prophets are either partly flexible, and some of them are non-flexible. What is non-flexible? We'll tell you soon, inshallah. Okay. There are some exceptions. Lut and Nuh, okay, especially the 3-letter words like that prophet's name, okay, they are non-Arab names, okay, but they are exception. They work like the Arab prophets' names, okay. So although they are non-Arab names, so Nuh and Lut, they are not Arab prophets. These are the 4 Arab prophets, okay. These 2 prophets' name, although they are non-Arab, so they should be partly flexible, okay, but they are not. They are exception. Okay, so Lutun, Lutan, and Lutin. It can take all 3 forms in Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. Nuhun, Nuhan, Nuhin. It can take all 3 kinds of forms. Okay, although they are non-Arab prophets. Clear, everyone? Another word, Adnin. Adnin is a place in Jannah. Adnin is the name of a place in Jannah. In English, we call them Eden. You know the stadium, Eden Garden in Calcutta, the cricket stadium, or you know or Eden Park. I think a lot of countries has Eden Park. You know, so Eden comes from the same word Aden. Okay, and Aden is a place in the high place in Jannah. It's a beautiful garden, a part of the Jannah. Okay, so it's a name of a place. Okay, and it should work like Makkah, like partly flexible. But this is exception. So Aden can be Adnun, Adnan, Adnin. It can have all 3 things. Although it's a name of a place, it should be partly flexible, but these 3 words are exception. So Lut, Nu, and Aden. Aden is the name of a place, not a prophet. Okay, so Lut, Nu, and Aden, they're exception. And on the other side, we have 4 prophets: Muhammadun, Shuaib, Sholeh, and Hud. Okay, they are all, you know, may Allah peace be upon all of them. They are all fully flexible, meaning they are un, an, and in sound. All other prophets, other than the 6 prophets, most of them are partly flexible. Okay, some of them are non-flexible. Okay, before I jump into non-flexible, I need to tell you what is non-flexible. Non-flexible word that never change. These are words like Haza, Isa, Musa. Okay, so Haza means this. Okay, so non-flexible word actually is a bigger group than partly flexible. You can say that. In partly flexible, we have places and names of non-Arab prophets. Okay, by the way, Maryam is also a non-Arab name. Okay, so Maryama, Maryamu, it can be Maryami. Okay, it's partly flexible. Firaun is a name. Okay, that is also a partly flexible non-Arab names. Okay, Karun is an enemy. Okay, the villain. You know, so they are also partly flexible. Partly flexible. Okay, I think someone is asking something. Are all 3 letters ism with sukun in the middle fully flexible? Not all of them, most of them, yes. Okay, most of them are fully flexible, yes. Okay, these are words like, okay, so now there are some prophets them like Musa, Isa, Zakaria. These words are non-flexible. Non-flexible means their rafa, nasab, and jar is the same. Their rafa, nasab, and jar does not change. Then you can ask me, brother, how am I going to know whether it's a rafa, nasab, or jar? Because so far we know U means rafa, A means nasab, E means jar. Now you are saying it doesn't change. You will know. That's why you're doing this course, inshallah. Okay, so you will know soon. Same with Ibrahim. You can say, brother, Ibrahimu is rafa, I understand. But Ibrahima, you're saying it could be nasab or it could be jar. How am I going to know that? you will know that. Just like Muslimina, you will know, this one also you'll know, inshallah. Okay, there are clues that will give you. For the time being, we are knowing that this word cannot take kasra. And the word like Musa, look at the word Musa and Isa. Okay, these words actually 4-letter words: mim, wa, sin, and the last word, the last letter is called alif maksura. It's called alif maksura. It's not a ya. Ya has 2 dots. This one is called alif maksura. If it is ending with alif maksura or a alif, sometime a word finish with an alif, okay? It's a standing alif. It's called dagger alif sometime, okay? If it is that the one, then they are non-flexible. Meaning, so Musa cannot be Musi or Musu or Musi, like not like this. Musa is always Musa. Whether he is doing the job as a Rafa, or whether someone is doing the job in a Nasab, or is in the house of Musa or car of Musa, or the land of Musa, stick of Musa, is always Musa, 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 and Musa. Okay, just like Isa is also same. Zakaria, the word Zakaria is also end with alif. If you look at the spelling, okay, that is also non-flexible. There are other non-flexible words other than Prophet's name. Okay, for example, Haza. Haza means this, but I'm not putting too much emphasis on those ones now, because those extra words will come later. Okay, and that time I will tell you this is non-flexible word, and you will understand what is non-flexible means. So non-flexible means they do not change. Look at this green chart on the screen: Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. This was our initial chart in last week, right? Rafa is un sound and an sound and in sound. Today we learned it could be light also, u, a, and e. We learned that today, right? It's the light version. And partly flexible are some of the words. They can take u sound for Rafa, not un sound, because they can't have tanween. And they have a sound for nasab and jar, a sound. And non-flexible are the words. They do not change. That's why they're called non-flexible. Their Rafa version, nasab version, and jar version still the same. Still the same. So I think we over 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop here. I had a page of exercise, but we'll do it inshallah next week, because I think if I do it, it's gonna. So we're gonna do like this. What does this word mean? And not mean like is this word heavy, light, or is it a flexible and non-flexible word? We'll look at that. Okay, so we'll do it next week. So today again, so we talked about flexibility. Okay, fully flexible. You don't have to worry that much. That is the default one. That the word that takes from your chart, like un, an, and in sound, 3 sounds. Okay, partly flexible cannot have tanween. They're always light, and this is the one of the reasons that words are light. Okay, we have 3 more reasons to cover that will come in future, inshallah. Okay, so one of the reasons that word is light, because they're partly flexible, and they cannot take kasra. Okay, so they cannot take kasra. Okay, so whenever you see a non-Arab prophet's name, okay, and you will never find, like for example, Yusuf, okay, Yahya, okay, Yunus, okay, all these prophets are non-Arab names, okay, so they can have a u sound, they can never have the e sound. For their nasab and jar version, they always have the a sound. So and the non-flexible ones, there's only handful of them, but there are other words than prophet's name, like for example, Isa, Musa, Zakaria, these 3 ones. Okay, and I think there's one more I don't remember, but if we've come across, we'll see that inshallah. So those ones for Rafa, Nasab, and Jar, they do not change their status at all. Okay, so these are also the other words. Okay, so with this, inshallah ta'ala, we finished today's lesson. We'll cover the flexibility again, and we'll do a bunch of exercise together. Okay, so I will go through you, and then we can have a Google form type exercise again, inshallah ta'ala, next week, and then we'll jump a new topic maybe the week after, because I want to make sure that you understand everything. And this actually basically the ending of our first property, status. So in status, we learn charts, okay, Muslim charts, okay, 2 versions of Muslim chart, masculine and feminine. Then two versions, and we have combination there. These 2 versions become 4 versions with light and heavy. And then we learned another subtopic under status that is called flexibility. So this basically ends our status, but we're going to do another whole review week, inshallah, next week, because I know you probably have a lot of questions, a lot of things going on in your mind. Oh, okay, Lut, so many prophets and everything. So inshallah, we'll give it a pause next week. So we'll go through all these things. We'll do a bunch of exercise, inshallah ta'ala, so our brain is clear, and then we'll jump to a new topic, next property, which is, I think, gender. We'll talk about gender in the week after, inshallah ta'ala. So jazakallah khairan. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. If you have any question, I'm here. You can unmute and ask yourself. I'll stop the recording.